Welcome to Manufactio, inspired by Factorio in Minecraft. Basically, someone trying to port as many of the mechanics of Factorio into Minecraft as possible. So, if you like Satisfactory, in that you've got a 3D world, it's more about consuming resources and automating them than it is about, you know, your open world kind of exploration. So, Minecraft series on the channel tend to drop off in views quite quickly. I don't know whether it's something you want to watch. If you do, put some like down below and we'll see whether we can make at least a couple more of them to get you started with it. It is available right now on the Twitch launcher, and I will show you sort of how the Factorio stuff comes about. It's not going to be much at all like a typical Minecraft playthrough. No caves, no hole in the hill, no starting sort of horribleness, nothing like that. We're going to start off in a void world. Let me just get rid of that one. That was just a test world. Let's just start a new one. So I'm just going to call it the same thing. Grey. You can start an overworld if you like and do that whole hole in the side of a cave. Sort of a bit old for me, so I'm just going to go for void base. You can go for void world as well, but you end up with just one piece of soil if you do that. I'm going to choose void base. You get access to a sort of platform. It's too deep, so you can dig up one piece of earth and then that's the actual bottom of the platform, then the next block down. And then there are these shards around all over the place. So there is the seed at the top left. If you want to use the same seed, doesn't really much matter. It's a void world after all. And we're going to load into the world and then explain where the Factorio stuff comes in. So the void world itself... hopefully I've got some shards around here. I've got some over there, one over there. The void world itself has ore in it, and it has ore in the form... It's invisible, but it can be mined by burner mining drills or later electric mining drills, I would assume. And if we just bring up the sort of F9 twice, you can see that the platform we start on has got most of a chunk inside one corner of it. This is the chunk I'm going to use to get started. So we're going to be setting up a miner in here, and you can clear some of the grass, but it will grow back pretty quickly. And I'm going to get to some of the stuff in a little bit. So let's look at the quests first of all. It's going to be a couple of click-through quests just to basically get started. It basically tells you about performance that you can get, improvements by removing certain mods. I'm not going to worry about that. It also explains about pollution. Everything, the sort of machine that you make produces pollution. You can absorb it by trees, just like in Factorio, or by pollution pumps. We'll get to that in a little while. And then these quests are the important ones. So you see where it says ores here. It says add 640 redstone to the chunk you're standing in. So pick a chunk, and this is why I'm standing in the one that's using the majority of the room in the current platform. And click on this and detect claim, and then that's changed our current chunk. Same thing over here with mining. This adds 320 iron ores to this current chunk. Claim, and then we get a few other things. We're just going to get a work table. Come on. A work table, which is basically your crafting bench. You can't make more crafting benches to get started, so you're going to do one workbench, but it does let you store 9 recipes in it. You're going to get 64 bone meal. Fair enough, that's not a problem. Okay, and then some lanterns. You can't make torches in the game. You need to basically make lanterns. That's going to be available later. And we're just going to accept some of these other bits and pieces, and I'll show you what they do. I'm going to get a little bit of coal. Yes, and I'm going to get basically the start of the research chain just by accepting this. Okay, and lastly, 500 hardened stone into the current chunk as well. That's everything we can do at the moment, apart from this one, which is to basically you need one piece of wood for it. Okay, so that's hardened stone all the way out there. You can use that as a replacement for normal stone. You can sort of craft it in a circle to make a furnace, like most sort of Minecraft starts. First of all, we're just going to chop down this tree. It is a dynamic oak tree, so it will not fall the same way as a normal tree will. You'll get some acorns back. Good. And you can replant that if you want to. I am going to plant it for now, I think, just to basically put something down, but we don't need to do... well, let's just put it over here. Okay, and they do grow, and apparently they do absorb pollution. No idea about the truth of that. However, I'm going to put an oak sapling. You go away. Go away. Go away. There we go. Oak sapling going down in the middle, and I'm going to use some of my bone meal to regrow that. So there we go. Normal tree, and hopefully this is going to give me a sapling when I knock it down again, or more than one sapling, so I can get basically this built out into a small orchard. That would be nice. I only got one. Okay. I would like more than one, please. I am going to get wood from this, but it's not the most important thing. what I really want is like a row of about 10 saplings, and I want that so that I can not have to use bone meal anymore. The trees will grow relatively quickly. There we go. I've got 3. So that's enough for me to just put down in a line over here, maybe. 1, 2, 3. And we'll just keep extending that in the background off camera. Now, some of the things that you get when you start the game. I'm going to put these down here, the things I want to use. The lanterns. So for the moment, I'm just going to put lanterns in the corners, just up here. Keep everything lit at night. And you'll see this is all sort of an industrial technical sort of blocks around. It is sort of mechanism based and chisel. And so up there you can see a solar generator, and below it there is a capacitor, basically energy storage, with LV connectors underneath. You can string cables off those in a little while to basically provide power, I'm sure. And those are floodlights, which presumably are going to point onto platforms that we can actually build. And now one of the things that in the quest that you get right at the start of the game is it tells you that mobs will not spawn on grass, earth, gravel, and sand. Of course, you're in a void world, so gravel and sand are probably ill-advised, given that they will just fall straight down. But other than that, yeah, it's worthwhile considering if you're going to have sort of platforms built. Normally in a void world, you will build platforms with wood, and be very careful if that happens. You may want to think about seeing if half blocks will actually stop mob spawning. Not sure if they will or not. Anyway, to get started, we're going to need our work table. And we're going to need some bits and pieces. I'm going to put my work table down over here for now. I'm going to put just one off the sort of side wall. And then we'll be able to use some of that wood that we generated initially. I'm going to keep 1 block, convert the rest into planks. And that gives us 40 planks. And we're going to get started with some other bits and pieces. Now, the ores, as I said before, they are invisible, essentially because we're in a void world. But even if we weren't, they're still invisible. So you're going to put your burner mining drill down wherever you like. So we need to get that burner mining drill, which means we need that 1 piece of oak wood. You should detect I do have 1 piece of oak wood. Yes. There we go. And we're able to then claim all this stuff. Okay, and just rearrange our inventory. We get a gun to kill stuff with, just like in Factorio, along with 10 magazines. And we get some other bits and pieces. Let's put any other bits and pieces. We're going to put down in this corner these. These are burner drill components. It's a 2x2 block. And you can see there is a burner mining drill, again from Factorio. Shift right click and you choose the output side. It doesn't rotate like in Factorio. Some you know, convenience to Minecraft there and doing this. And if you can hear a neighbor sawing wood, by the way, I apologize, but he's decided to saw every single piece of wood he owns at random intervals of a few minutes, unpredictably every few minutes for the last few hours. So yeah, not that that's annoying whatsoever. Anyway, burner mine drill, chest, and nothing in there. We get given a bunch of coal to start, and I'm going to start out by maybe using 6 of it. And we're going to dump that into here. Oh, that's 3. 6, I should say. There we go. Along with my iron drill head. And that's going to start cutting. Now, it doesn't actually excavate any ground, but it is going to start producing ores. And it's going to output into this chest because that's put right next door. Next thing you need to do is wait to get 32 hardened stone. But you're going to get other stuff in here as well. Iron and copper in particular, and that's one point where I am going to show you some other things. So right now I'm in a chunk, and if I use, let's just get a few things lined up. My seismic reader, advanced ore scanner. If I right click, you see on the top right on the screen, all those ores we added by those starting quests to this chunk are right here. If I then go beyond this one, click here, nope, nothing. Wait for it to come back up, nothing. And how about this last chunk? Anything there? Wait for it to recharge. Nope. So only this chunk in this platform has anything in it. However, all the other chunks out there still have stuff in them. So you can see a seismic reader. Let's say I want to find iron. Okay, so I'm going to click here and shift click iron in. And you'll see it starts to fill in sort of all the chunks around here. And then I'm right here. Okay, so if I just move my mouse very, very slightly, you'll see each of these small squares is 1 chunk. So if I want to basically go to that one that's got quite a bit of ore in those 3, I need to basically head that way and then across. I don't know whether this is oriented north-south. I would assume that it is, in which case I need to face that direction and head in that direction. But you know, we'll see about that when we explore and build a little bit more platforms. However, we don't need to do that to the start. At the start, we basically, I probably want to keep a separate chest with at least one of these at minimum in each of in the chest. But for now, I'm going to dump them in. I'm going to dump in my engineer's manual. Oh, in fact, no, I'll grab that back for a second. Pretty much everything else. Quest book I don't actually really need. A furnace I am going to need at some point. You see, it's got dark already, and one of our trees have grown. So let's continue to get saplings and continue to plant them so that I have a nice source of basically wood that doesn't require me to do much work with bone meal. And there's our dynamic tree. It gets thicker and thicker and larger as it grows in stages. Sort of a pretty skybox as well, with clouds. Anyway, what's next up? Next up in the quests is where we get more towards the Factorio stuff. Factory basics. This one on the left-hand side is basically telling you need to get 3 furnaces and 3 hoppers. Hoppers are composed of 10 iron and chest. It's normally 5 iron, but in this you need to make gears out of iron. The recipes are different. And then we end up with red science through to, challenge science packs. But red science is the first one, and that needs us to make, again, iron gears and copper. In return for handing those in, we're going to get common loot bags, at least for this quest, and these are repeatable, so you can get more and more loot bags by making more and more science packs, but that takes quite a lot of ore, so I'm probably going to do that once or twice at the most to get started. Further on, we then end up with automation in all kinds of different ways, and that's where we get into Factorio stuff where it's heavily encouraged that you automate. However, the only thing left in the introduction section is lava, which takes 32 hardened stone. You get a lava bucket, which of course you're going to then want to use to maybe make a cobblestone generator. But you see there's something missing here, something we do not have. It's wet, it's blue-ish, sometimes. It's water, we don't have it. So apparently there's a way to do that with the fluid unloader somewhere. There we go. So fluid unloader, machine blueprint, and that, as you might imagine, is not a small block. A lot of these basically modular machines are in use in this pack. Fluid unloader is one of them. Another one is the laboratory. So you make labs in Factorio. Well, the same thing is true there. If we just go to laboratory, in fact, let's just see what the list is here. So 1 machine controller, 32 iron sheet metal, 1 tiny item output input, 1 tiny item output, and normal fluid output hatch. So that's obviously where we're going to get our water. Iron sheet metal. What does iron sheet metal take? Can I make it manually? From iron plate? Can I make iron plate manually? At least to start. Yeah, doesn't look like it. That looks like, hey, you want to make a metal press from immersive engineering? Well, okay. And that needs steel, and that needs to get to other stuff. Fine, so we're not getting it that way. Okay, so we got to do other stuff. First of all, we're going to get some furnaces down and get that started. To do that, I'm just going to drop in maybe just a wood block temporarily. Okay, a furnace on the top. I'll get the wood block back. Because we are going to have hoppers, so we can have a hopper on the bottom, leading outwards to a chest. Hopper on the top, leading to inputs. And then on the back for fuel, etc. Typical vanilla mechanics. How are you doing and what have you produced? You produce 11 iron ore, which we can't double at all yet, and 10 copper ore. And you can see I've got halfway to my hardened stone sort of, goal. And there is a much better tree for us to chop down. I'm going to keep going until I've got a fair number of saplings, and I'll bring you back once we've got enough hardened stone to get some lava, and then we can get going. If you hadn't got a sapling when you chopped in that first tree, it's like 0 to 3 saplings you typically get from trees. If you don't get that, don't worry. You will get acorns from the falling dynamic tree. And if you get to your bucket that you're going to get lava in, put the lava somewhere like in like out here, for example. Just dig one of these unfamiliar items. It expands things as you go, so you know what this is later. It's sort of a progression pack. So if you dig that up, you can put lava in it. You get a bucket back. Take temporarily a piece of earth, combine it with your bucket, and then you can convert acorns back and forwards to regular saplings. And then if you want to get your earth and your bucket back, just right-click your bucket on the ground, your dirt bucket, and you get both of them back. So yeah, it's simple to get between the two types. And presumably we're going to want the dynamic tree types. I'm not sure the vanilla ones will absorb pollution or not. So yeah, I'll keep that handy, but you can convert backwards and forwards really quite easily. I'm off to go and cut this tree down. I'll see you in a second. So I now have 32 hardened stone, easy enough to then hand this in, and we get a lava bucket back out. That'll get us a cobblestone generator eventually, presumably. However, nothing much I can do with it until I get some water, which is not just yet. So yeah, bits and pieces needed there. So I've got my furnace here, cooking up iron. I'm going to need about 30 or 40 of it, so a little ways to go yet, but not too much longer. This thing just generates it basically on the fly, so as long as I keep it fed with planks or whatever you choose to burn, so much for the better. And just keep grabbing this. I'm going to need some copper, so at least to get one of the red science packs. So I'm going to need another furnace. That hardened stone did get used up, so I'm going to need to make more furnaces. It's the usual furnace recipe, just a ring of stone. It's just made with hardened stone. Excuse me, hardened stone instead of regular. So we are going to need to get those put together in here. I don't have any hoppers yet, but we should be able to make some of the prerequisites now. I can make, for example, an iron gear, and that will get me that. And then I can make one of the hoppers, I would imagine. So where don't we just clear that out? And let's see if this actually works. So one there, and then like this, there's a hopper. And will you work to just feed straight back into the workbench? Not sure, we'll see. Wait for that to come out. That's certainly gone. That's gone. So yeah, it's starting to be brought back into here. Good. And you can line up more of these with more hoppers underneath to bring them back to your work table, not a workbench. I did accidentally kill a sheep. I didn't mean to. There was a tree thing in the way. I hit it with an axe and went straight through the tree and killed the sheep. So I now have 2 raw mutton and white wool. Hopefully those sheep aren't essential. If they are, we can always cheat another one back in and throw these 2 things away. Just thought I'd mention that. I would like to shear them and get enough wool to be able to get a bed, perhaps, just in case I fall off into the void. But yeah, we'll see. Anyway. So 1 burner mining drill. 1's not going to be enough by any means, but remember that we don't have a huge amount. It's not in infinite or kind of set generation. If I do this, you can see the numbers are already down at the top right as to what we can actually get out of this particular chunk. However, as I said before, you can use your seismic reader to find more chunks. So we will have to expand, get more outposts, and bring them in by all kinds of mechanics, presumably the usual typical sort of pipe mechanics, as well as maybe, do we have any chests in this pack? We do have the default ender chest, the Minecraft one. We don't have the other kind. No. So how about Tesseract? No Tesseract. This pack's going to be hell on me. I normally cheat things through alternate dimensions. Oh, honestly, you're going to make me actually move the stuff myself? What can you do with that? Anyway, another furnace we go. There we go, easy to create. And we're going to want 3 of those and 3 hoppers total to basically make up the next quest. So I don't need to do very much now, except wait for the metal and the wood to roll in. With 3 furnaces, 3 hoppers, I now have this done, which means I get red research. That happened automatically, and I got them in my inventory, so we could use those for other things. I think it needs more than 5 to actually get anything done, however, but at least that's something for the start. And there we have our red science pack, which we can now make, I think, if I just grab a couple of copper, and I think it's just an iron gear, iron gear, and then maybe 2 of these, or maybe it's 2 iron gears. Yeah, I'm gonna need 5 more. That's fine. Let me just start out with just automating these furnaces, and whatever you do, the grass will keep going back if I haven't already mentioned it. I'm just gonna put the furnaces like this for now for the output side. I'm perfectly happy filling them up, at least for now. Although you can do one, feeding fuel into the back, etc., and the input into the top. But for now, I'm happy doing this. And then I can use these for other things. Yes, so I need 1 more iron gear here to be able to make a red science pack. And there we go, 1 iron gear, and that means that I can then make that recipe. So 2 of those, and 2 copper ingots. Gets 2 red science packs. So over here, I should be able to detect and get, 2 common loot bags. I'll get 1, which I can then use. Hardened stone, that's terrible. And then the recipe, the quest will restart again in a minute, and I can then use the second red science pack for basically getting the same thing and see if I get some food out of it. If not, then, well, we can just keep generating them as long as iron and copper last. However, they're not going to last forever, which means we're going to need to go and find that other chunk, where other stuff can be found. Ideally, we would like a coal chunk, so I can maybe create a self-feeding burner mine drill component. So if you're not aware of those in Factorio, you basically have the output of this facing the input of basically another one of these. I'm not sure if that's directly possible, but we should be able to indirectly make that by having the output of this one go into a hopper, which is pointing at another one, and then a hopper going the other way, going this way. And then they should both self-feed. However, that's going to be problematic, I suppose, with stuff like the ores. They'll only self-feed to a point. So we may not want the whole self-feeding thing we do in Factorio. Not sure. Let me know in the comments down below if you can think of anything else as far as that's concerned. We'll come on to that a little bit later. Anyway, I've got stuff to build and more trees to chop down as and when they grow. Is that quest finished? Come back yet? It'll come back in a minute anyway. Green science pack's obviously next thing up, and you get uncommon loot bags. It's probably going to be the same for each one of these. You get different tiers of loot bags, which has different tiers of stuff in it. Next sort of thing to use the red science packs in is, of course, the laboratory, and that is, again, the modular machinery stuff. So we need to make a bunch of stuff for this quest, and we get some machine casings back out of it. So useful to do, but needs quite a bit of iron. So, of course, I constructed a long bridge just to see what's out there in that chunk. It is iron and lead, and a lot of iron, like 64,000 iron or something, and a lot less lead, like 7,000 lead. And it is indeed oriented north, so I can just look here, put iron in, and you can see where it is. So it's that chunk right there, 62,000, etc. of iron. It doesn't show what other kind of ores are in it because it's selected only iron because I put iron here as the filter. So you need some kind of filter there, and but there's another chunk right next door to it that's 87,000 iron. Maybe there's other stuff in that chunk as well, and there's one a little bit closer. Now you can hear zombies already because I've built a bridge out there, which means that they can spawn as that is not earth, gravel, sand, or whatever else you can actually stop them from spawning on. So, yeah, you have zombies. However, we do have an effective defense against zombies, don't we? It's in here. Pistols. Yeah. And pistol magazines. Warning, loud sound alert. Just thought I'd let you know just before you actually encounter this. Hello, zombie. Goodbye, zombie. And as everyone knows in The Walking Dead, you basically should always take care of them with... Oh, this is going to go badly. Nope, this is going to be fine. Okay, that's never going to go wrong whatsoever. I'll probably put half slabs down when I get around to it sometime. But in the meantime, we can get leather, I suppose, if not a decent source of food. I did cook up the mutton I got from the accidental sheep killing. I've only needed one so far because I tried to connect up immersive engineering. So you can see here, I crafted LV wire, which is just copper, really, just modified a little bit. You can do it in the 3x3 in your workbench. To try and hook up this flashlight. And it connects to it with a connector there, but the flashlight doesn't turn on, so it could need a lever or something like that. I'll figure it out later. But ideally, we want to use these floodlights to light up further, sort of blocked out of here, then hopefully zombies wouldn't spawn. But yeah, we'll see about that one. Regardless, I've got other bits and pieces to go, but we are going to want to make another burner mining drill. So if I get to packaged? Yeah, packaged burner drill. You can make that out of the burner drill components, but that's not what we want. What we want is this recipe, so hardened bricks. That's just going to be hardened stone in a furnace, clearly. A furnace, some iron gears, some iron ingots. Easy enough to make a packaged burner drill, which you put through your regular crafting grid, and you get 8 of these, so you can make that quite easy. What isn't easier, however, is the drill head. So the drill head, when I say not easy, it is easy, it's just very expensive. It's like 45 iron there to make the drill head. So, yeah, thankfully, this thing is just continuing to make iron for me. And I don't have to worry about it too much other than that. So, yeah, we're just going to leave that cooking. And how much have we got? We've got enough. That's going to be fine. So why don't I just get this shift clicked in. I'm going to start using shift click rather than anything else. Yeah, I'm actually going to need a few of those. Oh, it's painful to do that. But it has to be done. And I'm going to speed up to get the iron drill head. That's expensive. Okay, and the other thing is, of course, the packaged burner drill. Burner drill. And we're going to need some hardened bricks for that. So why don't we just get... Do I have any hardened stone in my inventory? Oh, I've got some there. Let's just make those into hardened bricks. And we got that going. and I'm going to add that to favorites because that's going to become quite useful, I imagine. So the furnace we can already make, the hardened bricks we've already got, so we just need 3 iron gears. Okay, and now I'm out of iron. So I need to wait for a little bit more to be cooked up. We've got 15 more iron on the go, and we can make that, which means I can duplicate this setup, but out there. Of course, that will just start outputting iron and nothing, well, iron and lead into a chest, or I can build out more wood heading out that way and see what the next chunk contains. I think I'm going to do that when it next comes to daytime. And as you can see, my source of wood is continually increasing. I've now got 3 rows of saplings, and it's really quite easy to actually get wood to be fed. Of course, we don't want to be doing that long term. We want complete automation, so we've got to figure that out. If we can't get away with hoppers for the burner mine drills for automation, as soon as we get to something with filtering, we should be able to do that just fine. But again, depends what we get early game and everything else from there on. Okay, and I'll see you in a little bit. So I went out there and explored those 3 chunks. They are not coal, unfortunately. There's iron, I think iron redstone, and then iron lead, which is the original one. So I've put it on the original one. It's out there right now. It's producing iron and presumably lead. Got a full stack of planks in there, and that will continue to produce resources for me. What I probably will do is once this one is out, and you can tell when it's out, you can just click here. 181 iron to go, and copper and redstone, etc. Lots of redstone still to go. But yeah, basically you can see lots of redstone coming in. We're going to want to then just move this out onto those platforms as well. And let me just keep one of these in here to make sure I've always got a minimum to be able to use the other sensor, the seismic one, to be able to get things going. So let's just get all of these cooking up into their various ores and ingots. And yeah, so we're able to make more mining drills and get more resources, and we're probably going to have a lot more of them. Obviously, let's just take a look at that other seismic sensor. And what you want to do when you're actually heading out there is use your seismic sensor to find a direction. But on your way out there, test every chunk with your advanced ore scanner, just in case there are chunks that you don't have access to yet that have other stuff in them. So that's what I want to do to try and find the coal chunk. However, let's just look at the other iron again. And again, you can see that is north-south oriented. So you have, this is the chunk where my iron burner mine drill is. There's a couple more out here with 60,000 in each. And there's this really large chunk, which I think I'm going to want to head for, a really rather group of 12 3x4 chunks that have a lot of iron, but hopefully they will have other stuff in them as well. However, that is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see that the coordinate system. So 5 east, 4 south. So from my sort of starting location, it's probably 4 east, 3 south as far as from that corner chunk over there. So yeah, plenty of stuff I need to. That's north. It's over that direction. Plenty of stuff I need to actually do. There is nothing really marking that. It's not where one of the shards are, but certainly where we need to go to as far as our void world is concerned. So did you like the video? Do you want to see more of this and see where it goes as far as automation is concerned? In the quest book, you can see there is a bunch of other stuff. Obviously, modular machines is in the pack. We've got steel making to go, all the different science packs, which will unlock all the different kind of researches. So you can see in here we have a bunch of other mods going. Yes, immersive engineering, I'm sure, will become a part of it as far as transmitting the power. Want to figure out how to make these floodlight work. So, of course, they are connected, or it looks like it's connected, but I'm not getting anything out of them just yet. In fact, can I try a lever? I just want to try that before I leave. Is there any sort of... Yeah, there's good planks. And how about a piece of stone? I'm not sure if that's going to make a lever, but we'll see if that has changed in the pack. Nope, looks like that is not... is there any recipe for a lever then? Lever is cobblestone. Explicitly cobblestone, which I can't make yet. World transmutation. Not sure what that's talking about just yet. Yeah, looks like I can't make that for a little while yet, until we get to water, and that's a ways off as well. So yeah, no levers, but I'm sure we'll get to it soon enough. If you enjoyed, again, and oh god, I've got to do a lot of cleanup. Oh no, oh... I may regret this orchard thing. Regardless, if you liked it, put a like below. You can subscribe if you're not already, of course, and click on the bell for notifications. But otherwise, as more importantly, put comments down below for other people who are playing through and see if you can get tips and tricks for getting started perhaps quicker than I have. As always, guys, thanks for watching.